Mark, chapter 1. The beginning of the good news of Yeshua the Messiah, the Son of God. It is written in the prophet Yesha. See, I am sending my messenger ahead of you. He will prepare the way before you. The voice of someone crying out, in the desert, prepare the way for Adonai. Make straight paths for him. So it was that Yochanan the Immerser appeared in the desert, proclaiming an immersion involving turning to God from sin in order to be forgiven. People went out to him from all over Yehuda, as did all the inhabitants of Yerushalayim. Confessing their sins, they were immersed by him in the Yarden River. Yochanan wore clothes of camel's hair, with a leather belt around his waist. He ate locusts and wild honey. He proclaimed, After me is coming someone who is more powerful than I. I am not worthy even to bend down and untie his sandals. I have immersed you in water, but he will immerse you in the Ruach HaKodesh. Shortly thereafter, Yeshua came from Nazareth in the Galilee and was immersed in the Yarden by Yochanan. Immediately upon coming out of the water, he saw heaven torn open, and the Spirit descending upon him like a dove. Then a voice came from heaven, You are my Son, whom I love. I am well pleased with you. Immediately the Spirit drove him out into the wilderness, and he was in the wilderness 40 days, being tempted by the adversary. He was with wild animals, and the angels took care of him. After Yochanan had been arrested, Yeshua came into the Galilee proclaiming the good news from God. The time has come. God's kingdom is near. Turn to God from your sins and believe the good news. As he walked beside Lake Kinneret, he saw Shimon and Andrew, Shimon's brother, casting a net into the lake, for they were fishermen. Yeshua said to them, Come follow me. I will make you fishers for men. At once they left their nets and followed him. Going on a little further, he saw Yaakov ben Zabdi and Yochanan his brother in their boats repairing their nets. Immediately he called them, and they left their father Zabdi in the boat with the hired men and went after Yeshua. They entered Kafar Nahum, and on Shabbat Yeshua went into the synagogue and began teaching. They were amazed at the way he taught, for he did not instruct them like the Torah teachers, but as one who had authority himself. In their synagogue just then was a man with an unclean spirit in him, who shouted, What do you want with us, Yeshua from Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God. But Yeshua rebuked the unclean spirit. Be quiet and come out of him. Throwing the man into a convulsion, it gave a loud shriek and came out of him. They were all astounded that they began asking each other, What is this? A new teaching? One with authority behind it. He gives orders even to the unclean spirits, and they obey him. And the news about him spread quickly through the whole region of the Galilee. They left the synagogue and went with Yaakov and Yochanan to the home of Shimon and Andrew. Shimon's mother-in-law was lying sick with a fever, and they told Yeshua about her. He came, took her by the hand, and lifted her onto her feet. The fever left her, and she began helping them. That evening, after sundown, they brought to Yeshua all who were ill or held in the power of demons, and the whole town came crowding around the door. He healed many who were ill with various diseases, and expelled many demons, but he did not allow the demons to speak because they knew who he was. Very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Yeshua got up, left, and went away to a lonely spot and stayed there praying. But Shimon and those with him went after him, and when they found him, they said, Everybody is looking for you. He answered, Let's go somewhere else, to the other villages around here. I have to proclaim the message there too. In fact, this is why I came out. So he traveled all through the Galilee, preaching in their synagogues and expelling demons. A man afflicted with zara'at, leprosy, came to Yeshua and begged him on his knees, If you are willing, you can make me clean. Moved with pity, Yeshua reached out his hand, touched him, and said to him, I am willing, be cleansed. Instantly, the zara'at left him, and he was cleansed. Yeshua sent him away with this stern warning, See to it that you tell no one. Instead, as a testimony to the people, go and let the Kohen examine you, and offer for your cleansing what Moshe commanded. But he went out and began spreading the news, talking freely about it, so that Yeshua could no longer enter a town openly, but stayed out in the country, where people continued coming to him from all around. End of Mark chapter 1.